Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to share with you a review of the new Jouer Essential High Coverage Concealer. I'm going to be sharing a demo as well and swatches of all 25 shades. So if you guys want to know everything about the new Jouer Concealer, then just keep on watching. Alright, so the Jouer Essential High Coverage Concealer is going to be available on October 2nd on the Jouer site and also Sephora, which is super exciting that they're at Sephora now. I always shop at Sephora, so it's just like a lot easier to get their products now. And this concealer is $22 and it comes in 25 shades, so it's like around the same price point as most high-end concealers. This is the packaging. It's like that same frosty packaging as their foundation. Its claims are to be creaseless and a soft matte finish, and of course high coverage. And I was expecting it to be pretty high coverage because their foundation is like the most coverage foundation that I have in my collection. So getting into the swatches, I have 25 shades and I'll go ahead and insert photos of all of the shades, starting off with the fair to light shades, starting with the shade Snow through the shade Macadamia. Those are the first 9 shades. Next, moving into the next 9 shades, which are the medium to tan shades, starting with the shade Toast, which is my shade, and then to the shade Dark Ochre, and then moving into the dark to deep shades, starting with the shade Coffee to the shade Ebony, which is the darkest shade. So those are all of the shades and claims. Let's go ahead into the demo so you guys can see how the concealer applies and all my thoughts about it. All right, so I just applied my foundation. I'm wearing the Too Faced Do You foundation, and then I'm going in with the concealer in the shade Toast. This is like a light medium shade with more of a neutral undertone, a little bit of a peachy undertone, which I like because it kind of acts as like a color corrector. So this is what the applicator looks like. I have Shape Tape and my Too Faced concealer to give you guys kind of like a wand comparison. The Shape Tape is just like so huge. So the Jouer concealer one is definitely a bit smaller than Shape Tape. And then comparing it to the Too Faced one, I really like this concealer a lot too. This is the multi-use concealer from Too Faced. This one is the Jouer one. This one's just like a little bit longer compared to the Too Faced one, but it's kind of like a similar size to this concealer. So the applicator is definitely bigger than like NARS Creamy Radiant Concealer and concealers like that, but this one is still like definitely smaller than Shape Tape. And you can see like I'm actually probably applying a little bit too much because it is a full coverage concealer. And I do feel like I need to blend it out fairly quickly because it does dry kind of quick, like not instantly for sure, but sometimes my concealers, like I'll wait a minute or two and let them kind of dry down a little bit before I blend them out. But with this one, I like to work a bit quicker. So this is definitely a full coverage concealer. And it does have, I think the claim is like soft matte, and I do find that to be the case. Like it's definitely matte, but it doesn't look dry under my eyes. Comparing it to Shape Tape, and I don't like really wear Shape Tape, like the one I have is literally like 4 shades too light. This is a shade Light. I bought it back in the day when like Shape Tape was always out of stock, and I ended up getting a shade too light. But comparing it to that formula, I just find Shape Tape like a lot more moussey, which can kind of make it look a little cakey too. But that one just like blends out really smooth. This one that I'm wearing right now, the Jouer one. So what I like to do, especially with more of a full coverage concealer, when I apply it to my nose, it kind of acts as like a nose contour or like a reverse contour. And I'm definitely not surprised that this is full coverage because the Jouer foundation is like probably the most full coverage foundation in my collection. I don't even really need to do too much to like blend it out on my nose. I've been liking the look I've been getting with this concealer on my nose because I feel like that just looks like I contoured my nose. It's a little crazy right at the tip. I probably should blend that out a little bit more, but just has like a really defined look. So I'm just gonna set this in place with the Too Faced Born This Way setting powder. I've used, this is the 3rd day that I'm wearing this concealer. I used the this powder, and then I've also used the ColourPop No Filter powder, and it has looked the same either way. Like basically as soon as I first applied this concealer, I like could instantly tell the formula and like how it was gonna be, because sometimes, especially if something's really full coverage, you kind of get a feel for it a little bit better than something that's just like medium coverage. So this is what the concealer looks like, just setting it with a loose setting powder before I do the rest of my makeup. And I really do like the finish of it. I think the only concerns I would see with this one is when you do apply it, you have to work a little bit quicker than some other concealers, especially because I normally use like more glowy concealers. I've been using the Too Faced Multi-Use a lot, and this is kind of like a similar formula, but I find that this one's just like slightly more hydrating than the Jouer one. You could definitely take a little bit more time at blending out this concealer before it dries on your face compared to the Jouer one, but it's also not something that like it dries immediately either. So it is slightly more matte than the Too Faced concealer, but it's definitely not as like heavy to me as the Tarte Shape Tape. I feel like this one's just like a little bit more of a thick formula and you have to use like a lot less product. This one, like if you apply too much product, like you can blend it out and it's not gonna look heavy or cakey. So that's what I really like about it, that it is full coverage, but it doesn't look cakey or doesn't feel heavy, and it doesn't look heavy on my face. It does claim to be a soft matte finish, and that's what I'm saying as well. I've had super puffy, like swollen eyes the last couple of days that I've been trying this, and it has not creased up like under my eyes or like throughout the day, which I really appreciate because I've had like really bad allergies lately, and this has been working out well so far. So that is the application. I'm just gonna go ahead and do the rest of my makeup and I'll wrap up with all of my final thoughts. All right, so with the rest of my makeup on, it definitely looks matte, but definitely not dry at all. It has a really, really nice coverage, and I really enjoy how the concealer looks, especially on my nose. And I feel like that's a test of a good concealer, because sometimes I'll go in with a full coverage concealer just like on my nose and then use a lighter concealer under my eyes depending on what makeup look I'm going for, like how much coverage I want in general, what foundation and everything like that. But I really do like a good full coverage concealer to set like the center of my face and my nose, especially because it gives me like that reverse contour effect, and it just looks like I did more to contour my nose than I actually did. I just put on a strip of concealer down the center of my nose. So that's like a really good test to me of a full coverage concealer. So I'd say really the only negative is just that it does dry slightly quicker than like my Too Faced concealer or like some other lightweight concealers. You do want to blend it out pretty much immediately. I mean, it's not gonna dry in place as soon as you put it on your face, but just because it is more matte and full coverage, it is gonna dry a little bit quicker than like a more lightweight concealer. But even that is like not even a big issue to me at all. So I am enjoying this concealer. I do recommend it if you guys want a full coverage concealer that doesn't look heavy on your face, and I'm very, very picky about that. That's why I normally go for like more lightweight concealers. Alright guys, so that's everything for this review of the Jouer concealer. It's going to be launching on October 2nd. So excited that it's going to be at Sephora as well if you guys want to get your points there. I know they're not like the best points, but still you get a little bit of something, like a little mini mascara or something. But that's going to be everything for this review. If you guys liked it, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you guys soon in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.